Previously on Hunting Hitler.
If Hitler's fleeing Berlin, he had an intermediate stop.
Denmark makes a lot of sense. It's not like the Allies are landing on the beaches there. Until May 5th, Denmark was still a Nazi stronghold.
These are people that can keep a secret. These are people you can trust.
You saw Hitler and several comrades in May 1945. Where did you see them? In Tonder.
In total clandestine conditions, you could land here. But if these trees did exist, you're certainly not going to get a big airplane in here.
That discounts it completely.
What if these trees weren't here? I'm going to take a sample of this tree and make a determination on how long this tree's been standing here. These results could be what makes or breaks the case.
There's no possible way that somebody could get across this body of water alive.
This was a Nazi compound, and it was protecting one person who was very important.
Within 50 miles, there are several small towns.
We need names.
Aquí en esta ciudad hay una señora Adela
Goering. Goering is a founder member of the Nazi Party, and in the event of Hitler's death, it was Goering who was to become Führer.
We have to talk to her.
This is sounding to me closer than we've been to the truth since we started this.
No question about it.
21-year CIA veteran Bob Baer and war crimes investigator Dr. John Sensich are overseeing a dual-pronged investigation while the European team investigates how Hitler could have escaped from Berlin to Denmark. The South American team is investigating whether Hitler could have eventually reached a Nazi compound in the jungles of Argentina.
If I were planning Hitler's escape, I would go to Denmark.
They focus in on the European leg of their investigation. In Tonder, Denmark, they've uncovered a secret Nazi airbase at the location that SS Major Mackensen, in his declassified Nuremberg testimony, placed Hitler arriving from Germany.
All the arrows are pointing to Tonder. Now the issue when they got there and they looked at this, Lenny, was there were trees. You couldn't land.
We also have the results of the tree core analysis. We had the dilemma about the trees. He said, let's take a look and see when these trees were actually planted. As you can see here, that's just a little over 1950, after the Second World War.
So any aircraft could land there.
And take off.
And take off. First, we have Major saying he saw Hitler, and then the airport had the complete infrastructure that would have supported fleeing Nazis. I mean, it's all lining up very nicely into a consistent story. All right, you get to Tonder, and the question is, what is the next place that Hitler would go? What sort of evidence do we have? Where could he have gone?
Well, the only thing that we can do right now is to go deeper into the statements like the SS Major during the Nuremberg trials.
See what we come up with. 15 March 1948, question. Hitler was at the airport. Yes, Hitler was. You were all Germans? Leon de Grelle is the only foreigner. Who's Leon de Grelle?
I don't know, don't have a clue. Let's dig in here and see what we've got on Mr. de Grelle.
Oh, here we go. Mr. de Grelle actively collaborated with the Nazis. During a ceremony to honor him for wartime actions, Mr. de Grelle said Hitler told him, if I had a son, I would have liked him to be like you. If you're on the run, there's very few people you would trust. And clearly, he looked at de Grelle as family.
Therefore, if de Grelle was with Hitler in Denmark, this is not just a coincidence. Let's see exactly what else we might have on de Grelle. Oh yeah. In May 1945, Mr. de Grelle managed to escape in an airplane and landed in San Sebastian, Spain.
Well, I mean, that completely fits. I mean, look, the date, May 45, he escapes in an airplane from Denmark and goes to Spain.
Earlier in the investigation, we concluded that one of the most likely places that Hitler would have gone from Germany would have been Spain. You begin to see a pattern.
The obvious question is, did he take Hitler with him on the same plane?
So I think we need to get the team into San Sebastian. Is there something that we can find on the ground that corroborates that de Grelle landed in an airplane in 1945?
Let's do it.
We've been told that Leon de Grelle flies to San Sebastian. Why does he come here? Why this little corner of Spain? And I guess that's what we need to try and find out.
World War II historian James Holland lands in the remote coastal town of San Sebastian in northern Spain. He is joined by Mike Simpson, Special Forces reconnaissance expert.
I have a career that spans 3 decades, almost all of it in special operations. I've served as an airborne ranger, as a Special Forces operator. In 32 years, I've hunted drug lords, I've hunted terrorists. But this is the villain to end all villains, Adolf Hitler himself. This is the big prize, and I want to go after it.
In search of evidence that Leon de Grelle could have arrived in San Sebastian, the team has been granted access to Fototeca, a private archive of thousands of photos of the town's political and cultural life during the 20th century.
Estamos buscando para los periódicos de mayo 1945.
We're really interested in Leon de Grelle arriving here.
Pero habría que buscarla.
When you're talking about a remote part of the world, archives are almost your first port of call because as a historian, you want to look at documents, things that happen absolutely of the moment. 1945. So the first thing I'm looking for is a plane that de Grelle came over it. But I wasn't finding that. So let's look elsewhere. Is there any signs of German influence here in this neck of the woods? Very quickly, the answer is yes. Here's some German helmets. They're Spanish, but they're wearing German helmets. And this shows that the Germans have been supplying the Spanish with equipment.
So I've got another one here, the fascist salute in the plaza downtown here.
Lots of Nazis. You know, the dagger and stuff is the feature of the SS.
What really surprises me is we're seeing so much evidence of the Germans being here, and you can't flip 2 pages without seeing a swastika or a German soldier.
No. You know, if you're an escaping Nazi, this would be a good place to come, clearly.
Everything we're seeing says that there was a deep-seated Nazi presence here. It really has to make somebody ask, if this is what we're seeing in the archives, how deep did it really run?
Yo creo que hay una persona que os podría ayudar, que se llama Jaime Rodríguez Solís. Fue testigo del evento.
You're gonna want to hear this. He's found someone who was supposedly an eyewitness to de Grelle's landing.
Wow. He lives here in San Sebastian.
He has his address. We have a name and address of an eyewitness to the de Grelle landing. With a 70-year-old cold case. A living eyewitness is exactly what you want. It is like hitting the jackpot.
So it's just here.
James and Mike arrive at the home of Jaime Rodriguez Solis, a rumored eyewitness to de Grelle's arrival in May 1945.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Morning.
Hi, I'm Mike.
I'm Amaya. Hello.
This is James, my colleague.
Nice to meet you. This is my father, Jaime Rodriguez.
Fascinated to know what it was like in this part of the world once the Second World War started.
En aquel momento tenían admiración nazis, porque estaban ganando la guerra.
And what about once the war ended? Can you remember seeing any Germans come to this part of the world?
People helped them to hide. When they passed to Spain, the Nazis, they had no problems.
And we've heard that there was a Nazi called Leon de Grelle.
Leon de Grelle.
Leon de Grelle es el que vino en el avión.
Ese es el del avión, ¿no?
Yes. He flew it, but we don't know where.
He says he remembers. He went and he saw it.
Oh, really?
And a friend said the plane landed in the beach.
It landed on the beach?
In the beach.
Not on an airfield?
No. En la playa.
When they arrived, it was there in the water.
Anyone else come out of the plane?
He doesn't know. That he cannot tell you. He says that the following day, when he went to the beach, the plane was not there anymore.
Really? Just one day later?
They figured out that the local authorities removed it.
But that slightly suggests they want to get rid of it quite quickly, doesn't it?
With a story like that, certainly that's something that at least some people would continue to talk about. Is there anybody that we might be able to talk to that can give us a little bit more information?
Si la familia de Barea.
Ah, vale. He thinks that there's a family, Barea family, Ramon Barea. He may be able to maybe tell you something more about it.
Our original assumption was that the plane had landed at a small airport here in San Sebastian. The fact that it was on a beach, that kicks it up a notch. Why did he land on that beach? And who else could have been on that plane? Could it have been Hitler himself? That's what we have to find out.
We've established there was a Nazi military compound, and 50 miles away in Misiones, there was a German community. This place was a Nazi hideout.
While the team continues to dig in San Sebastian, Spain, Bob and John discuss the South American leg of their investigation.
We have found the descendant of Adolf Hitler's leadership living there.
In Argentina, the team has uncovered evidence that Adela Goering, the grandniece of Hermann Goering, the commander of the German Air Force and one of Hitler's closest associates, is living just 50 miles from the Nazi militarized complex in the jungles of Misiones.
I mean, I think it's interesting that his grandniece with that name doesn't settle in Germany, but goes off and lives in Argentina.
The grandniece of one of the most significant war criminals in the history of the world is in Misiones, where we have this militarized Nazi outpost. We really need to put this together because Hermann Goering's grandniece is not just there by happenstance. If we can sit down and talk to the grandniece of Goering, we're in for some good information.
Who knows what she heard?
I think we're on the right track here, Bob.
Yep, let's do it.
Every time that we start talking to one of these generational Nazis, they've grown up in silence, practicing how to not talk about these things.
Think she's scared?
Yeah, they're all scared.
U.S. Army Special Forces Tim Kennedy and Coley, a local translator, arrive at the home of Adela Goering.
Holy. It's no joke. Whoa. This just got real.
Permiso.
Sí, sí, adelante, adelante. Mamá, vente.
Could you tell me a little bit about your family, like how they came to Argentina?
El papá de mi papá, que llegaba a ser mi abuelo, ese de Alemania se fue a la Argentina. Mi papá a los 14 años.
Walking up to your property, I couldn't help but notice the swastika that was carved deeply into that tree. What's the story to that?
Y los chicos, si acá se juntan 15, 16 de noche y están ahí.
Sometimes she'd have words with the kids, and in exchange for those words, they left a swastika carved out on the tree because of her maiden name. They try and keep a very low profile. She used to visit her doctor under her married name, but one time the doctor, who was Jewish, saw her maiden name and he refused to keep seeing her.
Because of that name, Adele Goering is still associated, whether she likes it or not, with being a Nazi. Honestly, I felt kind of sorry for her. She's scared of reprisals for the things that her family did. But we have to find out the truth. You've lived in Misiones for a very long time. Do you have any memory of any other German families that had Nazi connections?
Y sí, había mucha gente alemana. Porque mi papá estaba en el centro Y alrededor todo eran gente de Alemania. Todos los que vinieron de Alemania y se radicaron allá.
There were families that were connected to the former Nazi regime. And also, they were receiving people who were escaping from Germany.
Do you remember any things from your childhood, if your father or you knew anyone that was associated with any high-level Nazis?
Y bueno, mi papá vino del pueblo y vino en casa y dijo a mi mamá, ahora estamos mal. La policía y la gente están buscando a Hitler allá por las chacras.
The whole town was talking about it. They're here looking for Hitler.
Unbelievable.
It'd be interesting to be here at low tide and see how much room he really would have had.
In San Sebastian, Spain, James Holland and Mike Simpson are investigating a series of declassified files that report that Leon de Grelle, a close associate of Adolf Hitler, was seen by the Führer's side in Denmark before flying to this remote Spanish town.
I would not fancy coming into land on this beach, I'll tell you.
They arrive at La Concha Beach, where an eyewitness claims de Grelle landed in May 1945.
The first thing that I thought of when I looked at the bay is how small it was from side to side and how difficult it would be, especially with the islands, to navigate an aircraft in here. That's what jumped out at me right away.
Hello.
Señor Ramón.
Nice to meet
Mucho
you.
gusto.
The team makes contact with Ramon Barea, whose father was a longtime resident of San Sebastian.
My father, when he was 23, he lived just over there. 8 May 1945, around 6:30 in the morning, hearing a big noise, he saw the crash.
Just rewind there a second.
What exactly did he see?
The aircraft of Leon de Grelle crashed in the middle of the bay. Just this point. I have some pictures to show you.
Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Whoa, look how bad, look at the damage on that, Mike. You can see that one wing's been ripped off, one of the engines has come off that ripped off wing, it's been flipped completely upside down, the whole back of the fuselage of the plane has broken. And really, you look at that and it just seems a miracle that anyone could have survived.
The crew was 5 people, the pilot, the radio operator, the navigator, and the lieutenant, and Leon de Grelle.
Everyone survived?
Yeah, all survived.
In the final days of the war, Hitler was in very, very poor health. Given the evidence that we've seen of the crash, had he been on that aircraft, he would not have survived. Had he been on that aircraft, which we think now he was not. So when de Grelle was done recuperating, where did he stay?
Franco gave to him the new identity. The most popular newspaper of San Sebastian, the day after, nothing.
Even though everyone in town knew about the crash, if I were in London or were in New York and I was looking at the newswire, I would have no knowledge of it whatsoever.
Nothing.
How was that possible?
Because San Sebastian was a satellite of the Third Reich, so everything was
all set up.
Yeah, set up. That hill, Igeldo, on the top you can see a castle. Yeah. Just behind this castle there is a massive communication building.
That's where we need to go then.
From the initial reports and after talking to our first witness, it appeared that San Sebastian might simply be a random crash site. But after talking to the second witness and learning a little bit more about the infrastructure, about the locals, and about the area, it appears that this is an ideal destination. And my gut tells me, even though Adolf Hitler was not on that aircraft, that this could be where Hitler wanted to go all along. With the fog, we almost could have missed it.
Mike and James arrive at the rumored Nazi communication building, just 5 miles from the beach where Leon de Grelle crash landed.
Hola Pablo, ¿cómo estamos?
With the help of Pablo, a local translator, they make contact with Margarita Martin, the current director of the site.
Esto era un caserío del siglo XIX y la administración compró la casa en 1905 y construyó la torre porque ya se había decidido hacer el observatorio meteorológico aquí. Este funciona igual que hace 100 años, igual.
Wow. This is absolutely amazing.
Esto es el anemocinemógrafo.
¿En qué año es este?
En 1927.
German manufacturer.
And still working.
Still here and still working.
Por los alemanes. Este edificio fue militarizado.
Right from the start of World War II, there were German troops here.
En la terraza, estos soldados pasaron de hacer la vigilancia aquí.
What equipment of the communications equipment?
Aquí tenían equipo de transmisión.
Aquí estaba la radio costera. El equipo de transmisiones llegaba hasta Canadá.
Very long distances.
I'm gonna go up.
Okay.
While James investigates the ground floor of the facility, Mike heads to the roof to check out the radio tower.
It's an incredible view from up here. Wow. If I were planning on bringing the Führer here, a radio antenna that is on the hilltop that overlooks the Bay of San Sebastian would be ideal for this. In a matter of moments, by communicating to the radio telegraph station downstairs, that information would have been sent to any U-boat or plane, piece of cake.
So what are all these?
The German government sent all these
Está
books
todo-
about how to work with technology.
In German way.
You know?
Wow. Look at this.
Estos son del 38.
1938.
Sí. El año 43.
Where did Margarita find all this?
She found them upstairs, hidden
Sí.
behind a wall.
Behind a wall?
Behind a
Sí.
wall. They had some problems with the rain, so
Right.
yeah, and they had to make some repairs. And she found this secret compartment.
But why were they all being kept there secret?
¿Por qué estarían
Para
escondidos?
ocultar la colaboración, claro.
To hide the collaboration with the
Como
German,
cambiar.
obviously.
It was fascinating to see all this stuff. The fact that this was all behind a false wall poses the question, why? What are they trying to hide? Do we know if there were ever any visitors coming here?
Esto es el álbum con las firmas.
In this visitor's book, we can see that this observatory received many visits from 1928 up to 1937. And after this, we don't have anything else. Everything is in white.
Blanco.
Those blank pages, they hold a secret.
Right. Yeah.
As we're discovering, San Sebastian is the major hub for the Nazi rat lines for those trying to flee to safety. We know that Leon de Grelle got here and was spirited away. The tantalizing prospect is who else came here in the ruins of the Reich.
We have a crashed Nazi airplane in San Sebastian. This is evidence. This was an exfil route.
Bob and John review the findings from Spain, where the team has uncovered evidence that Leon de Grelle crash-landed in San Sebastian in May 1945, after being spotted by Hitler's side days earlier, as reported in declassified Nuremberg testimony.
De Grelle had a serious aircraft accident. One thing's for sure, Hitler was not on this aircraft. As far as I'm concerned, the investigation relative to whether or not Adolf Hitler flew with Leon de Grelle out of Denmark to San Sebastian, we can put that theory to bed.
Yeah.
But look what Franco did. He took him in, he gives him a Spanish identity, and allows de Grelle to continue to live there.
Franco felt that he should be hiding Nazis, and he didn't care. He clearly would hide Hitler. I have no doubt about that, if Hitler showed up. And he would have covered up right and left. Maybe de Grelle may have been simply saying, let's see if we can get an airplane to San Sebastian, if we can get through Allied air cover.
It could be that de Grelle was making a dry run for Adolf Hitler, and Hitler may have used that same route at a later date. San Sebastian is a hotbed of Nazi activity. War criminals are fleeing there, and they had access to worldwide communication. It does raise the possibility that this could have been a destination point for Adolf Hitler. The other team has been able to interview Adela Goering in Misiones, Argentina.
Bob and John shift their focus to the South American leg of their investigation, where they discovered a relative of Hermann Goering, commander of the Nazi Air Force, living in Misiones, Argentina.
What she does remember is being told many years ago that people were in the area, they were looking for Adolf Hitler in and around Misiones.
It's amazing. A couple miles from the Nazi compound in Misiones, there was a hunt for Hitler, an active hunt for Hitler. I think that's a huge clue.
This justifies us to continue the mission in this region.
I agree with you. I mean, the evidence is starting to mount.
It's quiet.
Yeah, not a lot of people.
Investigative journalist Gerard Williams and his translator Rune make their way through Santo Pipo in Misiones province.
It's just a couple of blocks from here, so it shouldn't be that long.
Our initial research had uncovered that the town is a high concentration of Germans, and we found evidence of Nazi activity. So why would this town, in the middle of nowhere really, have so many Nazis here? We have a hell of a lot of digging to do. So let's see what he's got. Hey.
Hola.
Hola.
A local contact and journalist, Enrique Medina, has been digging through archives for the team to try to uncover evidence of hidden Nazi activities in the area.
Has he found anything out?
Pues siguiéndolo y bueno, también sacando algunos datos también en la gente local, aunque fue un poquito complicado, porque la gente es muy cerrada en este lugar.
He found an article really important here. He said, can we see it?
Sí.
Yeah, well, he has it here, right? Yeah.
Este es el artículo.
Okay, it's written like 20 years ago, and it talks about a guy, Sacher, and he worked for a major Nazi, close to Hitler.
It says inner circle.
Yes, exactly, in the inner circle of Hitler, yeah.
A major Nazi here in Misiones.
Exactamente, aquí en Misiones.
So this man, is he still alive?
He is not alive, the guy, but the son of him is just living up here, actually. ¿Dónde queda ese?
Bueno, queda acá justamente a un par de cuadras nada más.
We just 2 blocks up here off the route.
Let's go find out what this guy knows.
Yeah. Should be the house here.
Excuse me, I'm looking for Senor Sacher, Emilio Sacher. Ah,
that's Emilio.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Estamos investigando como un poquito en la provincia de Misiones.
About the presence of German Nazis here. Your family, are they from Misiones?
Mi papá era de Alemania.
Ah, his father was from Germany.
And when did he arrive?
Él se vino con 15 años de Alemania.
He arrived here in 1940.
Would it be possible? Do you have some time? There are many questions I'd like to ask you.
Vamos adentro, sí.
Sí, okay, podemos.
Thank you very much. What was your father's name?
Guillermo Carlos Sacher.
Was his father a National Socialist? Did he like the Nazis?
Sí, era nazi también.
Yeah, he was also a Nazi,
He was
yes.
also a Nazi.
Yes. He always told him that he was a part of the Hitler Youth.
Emilio, did your father mention any names of Nazis that he worked with or knew in the area?
Sí. Alemán.
There was another guy as well with the name Edmundo. He was an old parachute soldier.
Your father, did he ever mention any senior Nazi that he may have met?
Yo lo que muchas cosas que escuché de Bormann, eso.
Bormann?
Maxi Bormann. Mi papá estaba trabajando para Bormann, ¿viste?
Martin Bormann, Emilio, is meant to be dead in Germany. He dies in 1945 at the Battle of Berlin. Are you sure your father worked for Martin Bormann in Argentina?
Sí, estaba cerca.
Martin Bormann is the second most important man in the Nazi world. He's Hitler's number 2. He was the secretary of the Nazi Party and the man who ran the money. And he's in Argentina. This is history changing. What exactly did your father do for Martin Bormann?
Él era chofer de Bormann, chofer. Chofer le llevaba aquí para allá y le cuidaba al otro, así nomás.
He tells that his father drove Bormann to San Ignacio at some point, and then Bormann just disappeared into the jungle.
San Ignacio is the closest civilized place to the Nazi military complex that we found in the jungle. Doesn't feel like a coincidence to me. Incredible story, but it fits with so much else that we've begun to learn again here. We came to Argentina hunting Hitler. What we've now discovered is that his deputy, the most important man after Hitler in the whole Nazi party, Martin Bormann, was here.
Well, that's incredible information. You have a gentleman in Argentina who is telling the team that his father was Martin Bormann's driver.
That's a hell of a statement.
Bob and John review the findings from Misiones Argentina, where they have uncovered testimony that Martin Bormann was living there after World War II.
Yeah, look what we have here. A document dated May 14th, 1948. Bormann was considered to have secured absolute control of the machinery of the Nazi Party by the end of 1944. This mole-like creature was insatiable in his appetite for reality of power. By his invariable presence, he gradually became indispensable to Hitler. He succeeded ultimately in removing all rivals about his master's throne.
Martin Bormann ran the show. He was Hitler's right-hand man, his consigliere. Hitler didn't make any move, didn't do anything without checking with Bormann. Well, let me say it's an extraordinary statement. Historical record has that the Bormann died in Berlin. He never made it out.
During the final days of the war, Martin Bormann was by Hitler's side in the Führer bunker. On May 1st, 1945, a day after Hitler's alleged suicide, Bormann and the leader of the Nazi youth attempted to escape Berlin. But hours later, Bormann was believed to have been killed by Soviet artillery near Lehrter Station, a mile and a half from the bunker.
There he's supposed to be dead in Berlin. But the evidence is inconclusive. There's no body, there's no forensics. There was enough doubt that he died that the War Crimes Tribunal in Nuremberg prosecuted Martin Bormann in absentia.
May it please your honor, the defendant's absent.
I worked for the International War Crimes Tribunal. It's an immense undertaking. It's an unimaginable undertaking. And there's no way in my mind that the Nuremberg War Crimes Tribunal would have wasted resources and prosecuted Martin Bormann and asked the court to convict him if they didn't think he was alive.
When you have a man that says, look, my father was Bormann's driver, it's really quite fantastic, but we have to run it down. What we need to do is get somebody who's got a handle on the facts of the case.
The team makes contact with Graham Wood, a journalist for The Atlantic and lecturer at Yale University, who spent 9 years investigating the Bormann case.
We have come across a man who claims his father was the driver of Martin Bormann.
In Misiones, Argentina.
I mean, what do you think about that?
It's possible. I mean, we don't know what happened to Bormann. There's evidence in both directions. The official story is that he left the bunker and died on the spot. But there was no one there to witness that except for the leader of the Nazi Party youth. And a lot of people were unwilling to take his word for it, including major historians who saw possibly an alibi to get Bormann to safety. In the 1960s, German authorities excavate that area and to look for Bormann's bones, but they didn't find Bormann's body there. Instead, they found nothing. It was embarrassing for the West German government to have a very, very important figure of the Third Reich at large and not being able to track him down. For someone as prominent as Bormann to still be at large would have been just one more way of pulling Germany back into the past that it really didn't want to remember. A few years later, in 1972, the German authorities, for no real reason of new evidence, searched again in the area where Bormann had allegedly died. And miraculously, after having searched that area already in the 1960s, in that very same spot, they found his bones, and they said, it's over, we found it, no need to continue looking for him. His DNA analysis showed that these bones almost certainly were Bormann's. The question is, were they always there? Were they there from May 1st, 1945?
But what's the evidence that he lived?
When people looked at those bones, the evidence was really not as clear as I think many would have liked. There was dental work on the skull that was post-1940s technology. Also suspicious, there was the fact that the soil that was attached to the bones had a kind of red, iron-rich clay, which is something that you don't find anywhere in Germany, but is common for the soil of certain parts of South America.
We have a skull in Berlin with clay that's only found in South America. This is a potential major break in this investigation.
And then, in 1999, the Germans decided nobody would be looking at these bones in the future, and they threw them out of an airplane into the Baltic. So if anyone wants to test them now, they'll have to get some scuba gear.
Like the Hitler case, there was no forensics. There was no good evidence that he died. They didn't have a body. They didn't have a witness they could completely trust. And the fact is that the forensics we do have are wrong. That completely opens up this whole thing. Bormann is sort of the key for Hitler's fate. If Hitler did make it to South America, he took people with him.
That's the bottom line, isn't it? Martin Bormann very well may take us one step closer to Adolf Hitler.
Let's look for a street name.
In Misiones, Argentina, Gerard Williams and Tim Kennedy have uncovered a Nazi network in the area with potential connections to Hermann Goering and Martin Bormann.
We have to break this network down. We have to see how deep it goes and where this web reaches.
And who was here?
Now they have located the home of a potential Nazi fugitive who may still be living in the area.
There was another guy as well with the name Edmundo. He was an old parachute soldier.
We know that Misiones is flooded with Nazis, senior Nazis, SS, you name it, they were there. We may have uncovered a living Nazi in this town. We need to go talk to him.
I think it's on the other side, actually. It's over here. There it is.
All right. We have to approach this interview very carefully, take it slow, ease our way into the conversation.
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
We're trying to find an Edmundo.
Sí, Edmundo es mi padre. Él falleció hace 2 años ya.
Edmundo is his father, but he passed away some years ago.
Okay. We're researchers looking for some information that your father might have known. Could you talk to us for a few minutes?
Buscamos un poquito información sobre tu papá, tal vez.
Sí, no hay problema. No hay problema. Please, por favor, pasen. Pasen.
Gracias.
So, we've heard that your father was an important man in the area. Can you tell us about your dad? Where he was born, how he grew up?
Bueno, él cuando tenía 14 años entró a la juventud hitleriana y a los 16 años entró a combate directamente.
Did your father ever speak about the war? Did he ever talk about his time in service?
Sí, él contaba muchas historias de la guerra, tenía inclusive contaba las historias y tenía inclusive tenía medallas, tenía fotos.
Do you still have them?
¿Todavía lo tienes?
Sí, tengo.
I'd love to see them. I really would love to see them.
Bueno. This is his father.
Luftwaffe wings?
Yeah. Yeah, he's such a boy, just a little boy.
Sí.
For me, this is fascinating to actually see and touch the things that are part of a history I've been working on so much. Is just incredible.
He has some more medals, he says, yeah.
La Cruz de Hierro.
Flying Cross First Class.
Acá hay otra.
This is the highest award of bravery. And he seems to have 2 of them. He's been awarded the Iron Cross twice. This is one very brave man. When did he come to Argentina?
En 1947 vino a la Argentina. y se recibió en médico y abrió una clínica.
So it would also make sense that your father was German, could speak to the community here, so there was a good client base.
Tenía muchos pacientes alemanes, sí. Tenía muchos pacientes alemanes. Sí.
And I suppose your father may well have treated many former Nazis in his clinic.
Claro, sí, por eso justamente.
The thing is, Alex, is that after World War II, your dad probably still feels under orders. Whether or not he's part of the Nazi organization here, I don't know. You don't know either. The only man who knows, he's no longer with us. But for the Nazi Party, 18-year-old boy, Iron Cross, he's a poster boy.
Is there any information that you have of people that your father would have known that could have been high-level Nazis? We're looking for names. Any dates?
Bueno, nombres, así, nombres, datos, rangos, no tengo.
The thing is people don't like to talk because they have something to hide. And I know that your father's part of it. What's this about?
Who's this?
Es la foto de Adolf Hitler en Misiones.
What specifics can you tell me about this photo? I need to know who took the photo, when they took the photo, where they took the photo.
No sé, muchos, pero el amigo de mi papá que le regaló esa foto le dijo que esa es la foto de Hitler en el 61 y que fue tomada acá en Misiones.
We have an alleged picture of an aged Adolf Hitler post-war.
To prove a picture like that's authenticity, it is imperative. But if we're able to prove that we have a photograph of Adolf Hitler, Misiones, that will be one of the most significant discoveries in this investigation, perhaps history.
Next time on Hunting Hitler.
Look at that.
1940 visitó Montserrat Himmler alguna cueva en la montaña.
Con permiso. Dice, ¿cuevas?
Cuevas.
Hay cuevas acá. Wow, I was not expecting this at all.
Here we are, in a kitchen where the man who facilitated the deaths of close to 11 million people would make his morning coffee. Ugh, don't want to stay in here.
What was your mother doing for Nazi Germany?
Spying.
Whoa, right here, we got an opening. That's an escape tunnel.
Holy